Hello children, welcome to Google Classroom of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. I am Subhida, your biology teacher. We are discussing the second session of the lesson, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. In last class, we had discussed about the reproductive organ of plant flower. We know that the flower consists of four whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Androecium and gynoecium represents the male and female reproductive structures respectively. Today, we will discuss in detail about androecium, the male reproductive structure, and the male gamete, pollen grain, and its development, microsporogenesis. Okay, let's start today's class. So we know that whorls of stamens are present in male reproductive structure. Even though the number, size, shape of stamen are differ for different species, it is having a typical structure. A typical stamen will look like this. It will consist of a bithecous and bilobed anther with a long and slender filament. Isn't it? So, what will be there inside this anther? So we are going to discuss in detail about the transsectional view of anther. I will show you both the microscopic view and diagrammatic view of transverse section of anther. Let's have a look at that. The transverse section of anther is represented here. So here we can see anther is a tetragonal, that means four-sided structure with four microsporangia at the corners. Children, can you see four microsporangia at the corner? The first microsporangium, second microsporangium, the third one and fourth one. Children, keep it in mind. Microsporangium is a singular word, whereas its plural form is microsporangia. Okay, so altogether we can see four microsporangia at the corners, two at each lobe. The microsporangia develop further and become pollen sac. They extend longitudinally all through the length of anther and are packed with pollen grains. In transverse section, the typical microsporangium appears circular in outline. Okay, and it is surrounded by four wall layers. So it is very clear in this picture. First layer, the second layer, third layer and fourth layer, and a circular microsporangium. And children, you know the four layers. The first one, epidermis. It is followed by endothecium, and the third one, middle layer, and the last one, tapetum. Okay, so which are the four wall layers? Epidermis, endothecium, middle layer and tapetum. Okay, the first three layers, they are protective in function and helps for the process of dehiscence. You know what is dehiscence? It is a process of shedding of pollen grains. Okay, so the first three wall layers helps for the process of dehiscence, and the final layer, tapetum, they nourishes the developing pollen grain. Clear? Cells of tapetum possesses dense cytoplasm and have more than one nucleus. Children, let me ask a question. How tapetal cells could become binucleate? Yes, because of endomitosis. Tapetal cells undergo endomitosis process in that nucleus divide within the nuclear membrane, but cytokinesis does not happen. Due to this reason, the number of nucleus increase while the cell is single. Clear? When the anther is young, a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells called sporogenous tissue occupies the center of each microsporangium. I will show you one more diagram. So in this diagram it is very clear. As the anther develops, the cells of sporogenous tissue undergo meiotic division to form microspore tetrad. Each of the sporogenous tissue is capable of giving rise to a microspore tetrad. That means each one is a potential microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell from which the microspore tetrad had arisen. Clear? That means the process of formation of microspore from pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell through meiosis. What is meiosis? Yes, reductional division through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. Children, clear? Okay, how can we define microsporogenesis? The process of formation of microspore from a pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. Clear? So the microspore as they are formed are arranged in cluster of 4 cells called microspore tetrad. That means the microspore separated from the tetrad and develops into male gamete pollen grain. So children, this is a microscopic view of cross section of anther. Very beautiful diagram, isn't it? In center we can see filament and 4 microsporangia and the developed pollen grain. So here we can see microspore tetrad, and we know that anther containing thousands of pollen grains, and they undergo mitosis to form a 2-cell stage, 2 unequal cells. Okay, 2 unequal cells formed. This is again a microscopic view. Clear? This diagram shows the stages of microspore maturing into pollen grain. Okay, this pollen grain possesses 2 unequal sized cells. The first one is vegetative cell and the second one is generative cell. Is it clear? The largest cell known as vegetative cell with a large irregular shaped nucleus vacuole. I will show you one more diagram. Yeah, it's very clear. So this is a large cell with a large irregular shaped nucleus and vacuole, and it is followed by a generative cell with a spindle shaped nucleus, and it possesses dense cytoplasm. Moreover, the generative cell floats in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. Clear, children? So the vegetative cell and generative cell represent 2-cell stage of pollen grain. So this is a 2-cell stage of pollen grain. Later, this generative cell undergo mitosis to produce 2 male gamete. That means the pollen grain is now said to be 3-celled stage. Children, cereals like jowar dehisces at 3-celled stage, whereas 60% of angiosperms dehisces their pollen grain in this 2-celled stage. Children, look how beautiful the pollen grains are, right? Yeah, even though the pollen grains are varied in shape, color and size, a typical pollen grain is spherical in shape with 25 to 50 micrometers in diameter. I will show you the diagram of a typical pollen grain. Yes, this is a diagrammatic representation of typical pollen grain with 2 wall layers. For the outer wall layer, exine, and inner wall layer, intine. Clear? Outer wall layer exine and inner wall layer intine. The outer wall layer is made up of a tough organic material called sporopollenin. Spell it as sporo, S-P-O-R-O, pollenin, P-O-L-L-E-N-I-N. Clear, children? Sporopollenin is a tough organic material. It is capable of resisting high temperature, strong acids, alkalis, and it is said to be that no enzyme can degrade sporopollenin. So far none. Okay, that's why pollen can be well preserved as fossils. Clear? But here you can see a pore or aperture. It is termed as germ pore. Children, sporopollenin is absent in germ pore. It is an aperture present in the exine through which the germination of pollen tube happens. Children, do you remember our first practical experiment, pollen tube germination? Yeah, you just recollect the memories. We observed the pollen tube through microscope. Do you remember, children? Exine is followed by the inner wall layer intine. It is made up of cellulose and pectin. Okay. Then the cytoplasm of pollen grain is surrounded by plasma membrane. After the formation of pollen grains, the endothelial cells lose water, which lead to tension in their cell walls. This tension causes dehiscence or breakdown, bursting of anther. So this is a microscopic view of a dehisced anther. Can see line of dehiscence here, isn't it? So along the line of dehiscence, the different thousands of pollen grains shed. Clear, children? That means this is anther dehiscence is said to be the final function of the anther that causes release of pollen grain. The cells lose water and creates a tension that leads to the anther being split along its line of weakness and release pollen grains. Okay, children? Clear? Children, I hope you all understood today's topic. After watching the video, you watch the YouTube URL attached along with this video and study the notes well. Don't forget to read the textbook and copy all the diagrams to your notebook. Okay, children? If any doubts are there, call me. And let me remind you one thing. Stay home, stay safe. We shall overcome. Okay. We can meet in next class. In next class, we will discuss megasporogenesis, that is female gametophyte development. Okay. Till then, bye.